morning, everyone. We'll get started in a few moments. We're waiting for a few commissioners to come in, and then we'll be ready to start our public meeting. Thank you.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. So glad that you all are here. We are going to initiate with singing the Negro National Anthem, which we do ritually, collectively, at the start of every meeting. And I want to have Commissioner Kennedy Wilson lead us, as she traditionally does. So I'm going to hand it over to her. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, let's begin. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Thank you all. Be seated, please.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture public meeting scheduled for today, Monday, June the 1st, 2026, here at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum off of 830 East Pratt Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21742. We will begin with our call to order, and it is as follows. Chair Kali Aset-Demet.
Present.
Vice Chair Jalen Money.
Excused.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Rochelle Adams.
Excused.
Thank you. Commissioner Jean Bailey.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Lori Bradford. Commissioner Dina Daly.
Present.
Commissioner Mark Glaze.
Present.
Commissioner Walter Gill.
Present.
Commissioner Gina Marie Lewis. Commissioner Yoti Mohan. Commissioner Brian Morrison.
Present.
Commissioner Robert Patterson.
Excused.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Ada Pinkston.
Present.
Commissioner Bridget Jones Smith.
Present.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Hakeem Tajani. Commissioner Chrissy Michelle Thornton. Commissioner Alethea Smith Withers.
Excused.
Present.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Kennedy Wilson.
Present.
And Commissioner Wesley Wood. To the chair, to the commissioners that are here, as well as the public, the notice for our public meeting was placed on the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture website, as well as our local and national syndicate news. And we do have a quorum for today. And I do turn this meeting over to the powerful, wonderful, and capable hands of our chair, Khalid Aset Ahmed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Herbert, and thank you to all the commissioners who are present in the room and online. So good morning to everyone. Once again, welcome. I'm Khalid Aset Ahmed. I'm the chair of this body. It is my pleasure to call this meeting of the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture to order. This meeting marks our final public meeting of this session, making it an especially meaningful opportunity for us to reflect on what we've accomplished this past year and to think about what lies ahead of us moving forward. I am especially pleased that we are holding this meeting here in Baltimore City. As many will recall, our February meeting, which was scheduled to be held in Baltimore, was moved online due to inclement weather. Now we have beautiful weather and we are all here. So I'm quite grateful that we are able to gather together here at what has become something of a second home for the Commission. Outside of the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum, our sister institution, the Reginald F. Museum, has long welcomed us with generosity and hospitality. So thank you very much, Terri Lewis and the Lewis, Terri Freeman and the Lewis, for your continued commitment to advancing Maryland's African American history and culture. At this time, we will now conduct an approval of the minutes from the April 13th meeting that were disseminated in advance of this meeting and are also provided to every commissioner here in your packet on the table. To this body, are there any corrections or amendments to the minutes from April 13th? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes as distributed.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners, for the movement and for the second. All right. All in favor to approve these minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? All right, with that, the minutes are approved. And now I am pleased to give the floor to Commissioner Brian Morrison. While he approaches, I want to make sure it's acknowledged for the record that Commissioner Wesley Wood is present at this time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Hello? Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm very pleased to be here at the Lewis Museum, where I've been a member ever since before it began, many, many years ago. It's a place that's very dear and near to my heart, and I'm very proud to sit on the board of the Lewis Museum as representative of the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture. As our chair has noted, the Lewis has been a very good partner in the work that we do to promote, preserve, protect, and to research our history, particularly in this very difficult time. The Lewis has opened its doors not only to us, but to other institutions in the community and around the state that are doing the same work. And we're very appreciative of the work that President Freeman has been doing since she's been here. And I can honestly say that in all of the years that I've worked with the Lewis, President Freeman is doing the most outstanding job that I've witnessed. So hats off to you. And at this time, President Freeman is here to bring us opening remarks.
Thank you, Commissioner Morrison and Board Member Morrison. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning to your chair and to the esteemed commission here. Thank you for deciding to have this meeting here at the Lewis. We were very happy to be able to accommodate you. We are truly family in this movement of trying to make sure that people understand that this history is not something that's out there over there in the corner, that this history is our history. And as I was just reading, what's the name of it? The Pendulum. The Pendulum. And reading the article written about DEI. Here's what happened with DEI, in my estimation. We created this thing. We created this extra thing called DEI. The fact of the matter is, the way we operate, or the way we should operate, is that it's included in everything that we do. It shouldn't be something separate. And had it never been something separate, they wouldn't have been able to tell us we couldn't do it. But because we created this thing that sat over here, that frankly, in most corporations had no power, it had no budget, it reported to HR, it didn't even report to the CEO of the company. It was very easy to put an X through. And I think what is stated in the Pendulum is so true, that it is just it's the foundation. It's the foundation. Even as you look at this through a historical lens of 250 years, diversity is the foundation. Now, equity surely isn't, but diversity is the foundation. I also want to thank you all for that very meaningful letter supporting the Lewis after the Sun's article, which was just a little slanted. And it just demonstrates how this fight is never going to end. It's never going to end. I'm gonna say one more thing, then I'm gonna sit down, but this weekend I went to see the play Suffs at the Hippodrome. This was my second time seeing it. And the play is about the suffrage movement, right? Women earning the vote for most women. And when I first saw the play, I was very concerned about whether or not it was going to tell the full story. And when I saw Ida B. Wells and Mary Church Terrell on stage, I was like, okay, this is going to be different. When they talked about Delta Sigma Theta's involvement in the suffrage movement, I said, this is going to be different. It was so different that I went to see it again. It's an incredible play. But they end the play with a song that says, "Keep marching." Now, I don't know that I always think in today's environment that marching is as effective as it once was. But keep marching is symbolic. It's like saying keep fighting, keep pushing forward, keep progressing. And this year at our book fair, we had Joan Trumpauer Mulholland as our civil rights icon. You have seen her picture. She was a white woman with a bun on her head sitting at the Jackson counter, and you see them pouring ketchup and all sorts of stuff on her head. Joan was in the fight also as a freedom rider. You've seen her picture with her number on as she was headed to Parchman Prison. Joan is in her 80s, and when I had an opportunity to interview her, I said, "What in this crazy day and age is your message to us?" And she said, "You just gotta keep moving forward." And so to this commission, I say, keep moving forward. We are your family here. Thank you for supporting us and for keeping us in the fold, and I hope you guys have a wonderful meeting today.
This time, I have the pleasure of introducing our featured speaker for today, Tanae Lynn Harris. Tanae, before I go to her bio, I'll just say this. Tanae has been working with, even before knowing that Tanae has been working with an organization, Collectivity, I came across them, and some of you may be familiar with them. I came across them through social media. And like this group here, they're trying to raise money for black folks. This is a good thing. Let me check it out. And I run an organization, the William J. Watkins Senior Educational Institute. And last year, we jumped in and said, hey, let's see if we could work with this organization to see if we could raise some money, because that's what they do. They basically raise money. They help grassroots organizations in the Baltimore metropolitan area raise funds for their programming. Something that we as a commission have been looking to do, and this year we were fortunate enough to get an appropriation for $500,000 for programming to supplement our African American Historical Preservation Program grant. So we know I'm familiar with you and know the importance of needing funds to do the program. And with very little effort at all, we were able to raise almost $2,000 in one day with very little effort. So this year we're doubling down. We're really tripling 5 times. We've got a $10,000 fundraising goal, shameless plug. You'll see information coming about it. But in any case, Tanae is going to speak on behalf of Collectivity today. And now I'll get into her bio. That was my promotion for Collectivity. Tanae Lynn Harris is a birth worker, scholar organizer, ethnographer, and human rights practitioner whose work centers reproductive justice, abolition, and transnational movements for collective care. She is the co-founder of the Bloom Collective, a reproductive justice and prenatal wellness center in Greater Baltimore, providing free to sliding scale services rooted in community care and equity. With over 18 years of experience in racial justice and human rights, she has worked on landmark legal and advocacy efforts, shaping an abolitionist approach to policy, organizing, and care. She also currently serves as community impact and strategy lead with Collectively, advancing strategies that resource and amplify Black-led change in Greater Baltimore. Grounded in relationality, mutual aid, and political education, Tanae's work is dedicated to building the liberatory futures where communities are deeply seen, supported, and able to thrive. And this very much is in alignment with what we do at the Commission. Janae Lynn Harris is a scholar, organizer, and all that other stuff I said. Okay. So, without any further ado, Janae Lynn Harris. Take your time.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I did not mean to have a song play for me to be here. Thank you, Dr. Morrison, and to the commission for having us here. Can you all hear me okay? No. All right, how about now? Okay, that does it. So 10 minutes to speak about collectively. Okay. All right. Has anyone ever heard of collectively before? Okay. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So I would just kind of do a quick overview, just to kind of level set the intentionality into where we find ourselves today. Jamie Wooten is the CEO and founder of Collectively. I have been alongside him since 2019, where he created Collectively. And so this really also comes out of the Baltimore uprising with Baltimore United for Change, where there was a cadre of all of us trying to provide services and supports during that time in a very clear and concentrated way. And during that time, we had created which was called a skills bank. And so what we got was a whole bunch of people signing up saying that these are the services and ways in how they want to support. So you see thousands of people signing up as they're coming into community, wanting to be able to support the good work here in Baltimore that was happening and to really honor. And with that was really thinking about how do you ensure that the Baltimore context remains the Baltimore context during the uprising, right? You have a huge national movement that can come in, looking at movement for Black lives. How do you come in to support the work without co-opting and taking over hyper-local work that's being done? And so what is it that we really attempt to do? The challenges that we really began to see was that there was fragmentation. Organizations were oftentimes working in silos, which was oftentimes creating duplication and miscollaboration. There were also resource gaps, limited access to funding, visibility, and support, which also undermined sustainability. And then there was also bureaucratic barriers, institutional roadblocks that limit access to tools, training, and networks. And then also the narrative damage, the way in how we oftentimes even talk about Baltimore, right? Comes from a deficit-based language. And so really what we start centering is narrative power and how we actually ensure that things, that we are not portrayed in negative ways, right? So we start trying to look at the stereotypes. What do we oftentimes hear? The over-communication of what? Number one TV show, The Wire, right? And so it starts to erode trust. Also, there becomes limited funding opportunities and create additional barriers for Black-led organizations, oftentimes seeking support. And so what really became our solution is that we really wanted to create a place-based ecosystem that connects people, capital, and community to strengthen Black-led organizations across Greater Baltimore. And when we say Greater Baltimore, we have to really honor Baltimore. But we're talking about Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel, Carroll County, Harford County, Howard County, primarily, is kind of our central focus. And so we really start thinking around GIVE, which is around resource mobilization, which is also thinking about our time, our talent, and our treasure. It's not always just around the monetary. And to date, since 2019, we have given over $7 million back into community. And we've done that through, first, the start was the micro grants, which were something like $500 or $1,000. And that intentionality was really about, we see you, right? So there are oftentimes philanthropic entities and foundations that are like, well, such and such on my board doesn't know if you exist. That doesn't mean that Miss Ella May, who is over on Brookfield, who's been cooking for her community for 20 years, she's been doing that work for a long time. So oftentimes we are saying, we see Miss Ella May, we want to give Miss Ella May $500 because we see her. And so that was really our start and our intentionality. Again, we go into the amplify. We reclaim our stories to celebrate the genius and the innovation of Greater Baltimore communities. And then we also think through Imagine, which is the learning and the convening, which is also our fellowship and shared praxis. So we think through, and one of the things we oftentimes talk about is how we scale deep, which is around the relationship.
And so Reverend Jennifer Bailey says that relationships move at the speed of trust, and social change moves at the speed of relationships. And so we really try to do that. And so when we were trying to give away the $500 or $1,000, you know how many people, because of trauma, were like, who are y'all? Y'all the feds? Y'all trying to give me some fake money? Right? So you have to build the trust, right? So we really had to tell a lot of people, like, no, we see you, we want to give you this seed money. And that changed into a lot of things, right? Someone changed the branding for the social enterprise that now is making triple the revenue that they once were. We also had provided a $500 grant to a candle company here in Baltimore that was able to buy more vessels, and then they end up being on Oprah's greatest candles, right? So these are the things, and that has totally transformed. And then there's the community-based entities and institutions that we're able to sustain. So sometimes surprising, although we need people to have greater capital, the 500 or the 1,000 of you see me really had done wonders. So we think around relationship network, intentional network, action network, and support network, which is really within the context of what is known as network weaving. And so, as Dr. Morrison had mentioned, Collective Give. Collective Give is our annual day of funding, crowdfunding in Greater Baltimore. This year, it is Friday, August 7th. It is every year on the first Friday, which is at the intersection of Black Philanthropy Month, Black August, and also Small Black Business Month as well. And so the intentionality there has been to really seek, find, and fund Black-led social change organizations. And why do we do that? Is because what we do know historically, APFI had put out a report about now oftentimes you see organizations that are ran by primarily white folks who are oftentimes doing the work on behalf of Black folks, oftentimes get the highest amount of funding. And we saw that changing tide. I would say we saw the changing tide. We could really see how perverse that is in a place like Baltimore, right? And so that is a big thing. And so when we talk about Black-led, we're talking about your leadership governing body. That would mean that technically it needs to be about 55%. And so these are the people who are participating in Collective Give. They can be nonprofits or fiscally sponsored. They can also be a particular project, like Ms. Ella May, who is joining arms with a nonprofit. They signed a memorandum of understanding, and they will accept the money and do the fiscal responsibility on her behalf, so she can also capture that. And then she gets a chance to tell her story. Last year, we raised $1.3 million in 24 hours with 130 organizations. We had 435 participants, which was from just community and also the organizations and the people that they had showing up. And we had about 3,200 donors within the 24-hour time. And so this is really about folks getting a chance to see each other. Every single organization receives their own page where they get to tell their story, their ask, their intentionality. And so that has really been part of our amplifying. So we want people to be in a hub place to be able to see all the great work that is happening to change a narrative. We do trainings to help people understand how do you fundraise together, how do you support one another, how do you tell your narrative. And we have to also talk about the healing of the ask, right, around money and capital. Our community really has to still heal from it in many ways, right? How dare I ask for money? How dare I ask for the things that I need? And so that is also some of the work that we do as well. We also have our fellowship, which is named after Drs. Elmer and Joanne Martin. And how we do that is it is through University of Pennsylvania. We collaborate with them because of their social impact training. Myself and Jamie both did it in 2017. And then part of that is also workforce development. So you're looking at grassroots organizations who are trying to scale in a deeper way for their work. And so we also understand that the sole reliance on philanthropy in this current context is going to be totally obsolete. And so we're really trying to empower and impact folks that Black folks have always been doing social impact work, and not everything that you do in community has to be a nonprofit, or you can be a hybrid model, and so we work to do that. In addition, each fellow receives $12,000, $2,000 a month over 6 months. So they do the work with the University of Pennsylvania, which is virtual and online. We come together weekly and monthly. And then they are really thinking about their social enterprises and the scalability and sustainability of that. And we also have our biannual convening, which is called We Give Black. which is really an opportunity to really be celebrating Black culture at the foundation of community-driven wealth, not just around financial currency, but our communal and relational currency as well. And I'll stop there. Are there any questions? Oh, thank you for putting that up. So actually, we now have a new website. And with this is also an opportunity for folks to sign up. If you go to, you could go to Join the Movement. So if you go to Join the Movement, you can sign up as an individual, and it is a free platform. Basically, it's really dynamic what you're able to do with this platform. You're really able to just tell your story. So let's say you are a consultant or a small business owner. You are Tanae Lynn Harris, who happens to also run the Bloom Collective. And people who are interested in the work that you're doing will also be able to find you. There's also an opportunity for organizations to register. And our collective give used to be on another platform, but we are now totally embedding it into ours so that we can also try to minimize how much other dollars we are giving and trying to build a capacity within our own platform. And so anyone can join this. You do not have to be Black to join the collectively. There are resources that you can oftentimes leverage, or just a relationship is more than enough. And so it's a really great way. You can think of it of like a deeper, more hyper-localized or regional LinkedIn, but anyone, you don't just have to be from Greater Baltimore in order to join, but it's intended to build upon what we saw with the Skills Bank, but into the 2026, into a future iteration, to be able to connect and build where no one is really in the way of that. You just kind of show up and you're able to meet and greet and get to know each other together.
Well, thank you so very much today. Am I audible? Hello? 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 Perfect. Thank you. Please join me in thanking Ms. Harris and President Freeman. But hold on a second, Ms. Harris. I need you back at the mic. Because we normally don't have a lot of time for questions, but this presentation was just so incredibly generative and so exciting. And so I just have a very quick question, because one of the things that I just find so powerful and inspiring about Collectively's work is it really starting from this premise that we have all the assets we need right here. We have the leadership, we have the brilliance, we have the expertise, we have the traditions that we can draw on, but for just an additional acknowledgement and infusion of capital, we can really, really make a thing run and fly. You mentioned various parts of the framework, the network weaving, the seed granting, and so on. I just want to know, is that framework also visible on this website that people can reference and utilize in their own organizational work?
I believe so. I think if we look at both our stories and the initiatives, it should show up where it's giving you a recap of everything, and we oftentimes overly talk about our frameworks on there. But if not, we literally talk about it all the time, so we would be happy to share any slides that we have. So we would be happy to share with the commission, and then you all can utilize them for sure. Yeah, because all of Jamie has his name on it. I have my name on certain things, but yeah, it's totally usable, user-friendly for community to be able to actualize. Yeah.
And once again, the work that Collectively is doing is tremendous for all of us, not just the African American community, but for the Baltimore community in general. So again, I want to thank you for agreeing to come and share with us on sort of a last minute notice. We really appreciate it. But I think it's very important that what you're doing, that we get the word out and amplify it as much as possible. And I really believe this is a great national, if not an international model that can be duplicated around the globe in communities like ours to So nobody's coming to save us. No one's coming to rescue us.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do better, it's gonna be because we did better.
Yeah. I mean, if I could even quickly say, when we're thinking around the crowdfunding, I would even uplift an organization like the Vinci Circle, which is a Black daughter caregiver organization, and they have taken Collective Give as their real day of fundraising for their organization. And all of these Black daughters show up, and basically what we are training people to do is that you have a network, right? Even if you have a team of 2 or 3. And I always tell people, collectively started with 1 person and then turned it to 2. And we started with $5,000. And then what we've been able to do is around intentionality. But last year alone, they had raised $76,000. And also within Collective Give is that we also have prize money. And so we do things where it's hour to hour, you have an opportunity to get additional seed money to your organization. From 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., the organization with the most donors receives a bonus of $1,000. So it gets really fun. It gets in a fun, competitive way. And so last year we gave, I think, about $125,000 in prizes. And so there's opportunities for that to continue. So that becomes the seed money and the gifting. And so really people can take it and really run with it.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think so, yeah. The last thing I want to say is they really throw a good happy hour. Go to the last one at Mama Coco's had a really good time.
Every third Thursday at Mama Coco's.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was a true delight. Okay, so now we move on to our regular business of the commission, which is our committee reports and our director's reports, and we'll move into that phase now. I will start by delivering our chair's report, and I've got just a couple of items to highlight. So this year, starting with acknowledgement of our new commissioners, this year has been a time of real positive change for the agency in terms of our personnel. In addition to bringing on new staff, 6 new commissioners also joined us last summer, and they were onboarded to our committees. I'm excited that we will soon add 3 more commissioners occupying seats 7, 8, and 20 this summer, and 5 sitting members will continue on through reappointment. We are also losing 1 commissioner whose tenure has concluded and who will be sorely missed, and I have to call her out today because she has been such a valuable contributor to this body. Miss Kennedy Wilson of Frederick County, please, we are so grateful to have had you. You will be missed. Your energy to contribute to all of the committees, but particularly the work around the book drive initiative, which is now virtually statewide, thanks to you rolling up your sleeves and getting out there and beating the drum about the importance of this book drive. It's just been a valuable service, so thank you, Commissioner Wilson. All right, our next item is that a new commission has been created in the state. The Maryland Attorney General's office will be the seat of a new commission on the House of Reformation and Instruction for Colored Children. As of this month, I have been designated to serve on that commission by virtue of my office as MCAAHC chair, pursuant to Senate Bill 776, which was just enacted during the 2026 legislative session. Now this commission, we've talked a little bit about work around what we colloquially call Boys Village, but this commission is charged with ensuring that the children who died while in the care and custody of the state at the House of Reformation in Prince George's County are identified and that their stories are told. So the work of this commission will include researching the history, operations, and resident deaths at this facility, providing a complete and public accounting of the children who died and were buried on those grounds, promoting healing and reconciliation through truth-telling, acknowledgement, and recommendations for systemic reform so this does not ever happen again, and ensuring that descendant and community voice are present throughout the process. So we will keep this body updated on the progress of that new commission. Also, breaking news related to House Bill 1300, which concerns the renaming of our African American Heritage Preservation Program, which has now been voted to become the Speaker Adrian A. Jones African American Heritage Preservation Program, effective October 1st of this year. So I want to be clear that this bill does not impose any new parameters, eligibility requirements, or operational mandates on the program. Everything will stay the same. It is fundamentally a renaming. The way the program is administered, who's eligible, how the grants are structured, all of that will remain as they have been under existing law. So there's no compliance lift here. But our grant staff, raise your hand. We always want to acknowledge our grant staff who make sure that this work carries forward with professionalism. Our grant staff will be meeting with the AAHPP committee to discuss how we roll this out next year. And we expect to link that to the rollout of the non-capital grant program so that the messaging and the timing are coordinated. A strategic note, which I think is very interesting, if you have an opportunity to look at this bill, it attracted a large slate of sponsors, which signals real legislative goodwill toward the program. So I think that's a very good sign, and it's momentum that we can leverage for our continuing efforts to secure additional resources for this program and for agency staffing and resources ahead of the next legislative session. And this added capacity for the program really is genuinely needed, not just to increase the number of grants that we are able to provide to community members, but in terms of our internal staffing and resourcing, especially in the areas of technical assistance and reporting and data collection, where we're stretched a little bit thin. The final matter to elevate is a governance matter. So as commissioners are well aware, over the past several months, our committees have developed and improved internally among their committees a set of handbooks designed to clarify the responsibilities, meeting practices, and operating procedures of those committees. So again, these are operational documents, not strictly governing policy, but they are intended to provide a common foundation for our committee work. So unless there is an objection, I would like to consider these handbooks as a single package that will allow us to move one omnibus vote forward to accept these documents as a body. The handbooks that have been developed are for the following committees specifically: the Government Affairs and Community Advocacy Committee, the BDT Museum Committee, Public Relations and Historical Committee, and the AAHP Program Committee. So the motion is as follows. Yes. Pardon me, as well as the Finance Committee. So I move, yes, we'll take a question before the motion.
When the Public Relations and Historical Research Committee was reviewing the handbook, we had a question about this matter. We had a question about the some of the narrative and the overview of the committees, and we had suggested that those be included in, that narrative be adjusted in all of the handbooks. Was that addressed?
It was, and thank you for that note. Thank you.
Okay, just to make sure for those who are listening in, the affirmation that those amendments were incorporated into the handbook language. Thank you for your question. So I move that the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture adopt these committee handbooks for all standing committees as presented and authorize their use as guiding documents for committee operations during the 2026-2027 commission year. Does someone second this motion?
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Morrison. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any? Thank you. Any opposed? All right, very good. The motion carries. Got some interesting AV things going on. All right, so this concludes my chair's report, and I would like now to give the floor to Executive Director Chanel Johnson for the director's report.
Thank you, ma'am. How's everybody doing? Y'all doing good? I'm gonna make my way to the... I don't know about you, but lift up your voice and sing puts me in a mood. Did it put y'all in a mood? It was good. Yeah. But once I get to the second stanza, it can be a little, ooh, you know. All right, so, all right. So, good morning, everyone. Is it still morning?
Yes, good morning.
It's afternoon.
Good morning.
Okay, cool. All right. Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, the public. And it's so good to be here at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, better known as the Lewis Museum. If you get a chance, definitely check out their Kids Zone. It's fantastic. They're also going to be redoing their permanent exhibition soon. So, but if you haven't, just make sure to check out the exhibitions because they're amazing. All right, so this is my director's report for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2026. But it's really important to note, because a lot of people don't know this yet, but this is all a part of our rebrand, our next chapter. We were legislated as an independent state agency in 2022. Our agency was legislated in 1969, 1 year after King's assassination, and some folks will say it was a reaction to King's assassination. The person who led that legislation was Senator Verna Freeman. Welcome. Okay. She was the first Black woman senator for the state of Maryland. She herself survived an assassination attempt to silence her work in the civil rights movement. And so she partnered with Benjamin Quarles of Morgan State University, famed Dr. Benjamin Quarles, to create a legislation, an African American Heritage Commission, the first of its kind in the country, to authentically preserve, share, and celebrate Black history, because their motto was, how can you really hate someone if you know their history and culture? And how can you feel disempowered if you stand on the shoulder of greats? So over 50 years, our commission has been doing the work to uplift Black history, Black heritage sites in our state. We're talking about Underground Railroad sites. We're talking about historic homes of Thurgood Marshall, Frederick Douglass. We're talking about the churches, the AME churches that educated Black students, Black families during segregation, during Jim Crow. We're talking about civil rights sites. These sites have been majority ignored, from the public record, under-resourced. States will be real quick to fund a plantation and turn it into a wedding reception site. But these sites have been degraded and underfunded as a public resource for generations. So our job as a commission is to make sure that these memorials to justice, these memorials to innovation, these educational centers, these community resources are thriving, are resourced, and it's an amazing place to work. So with that being said, it's important to note that the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture is a multi-tiered agency. We operate the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum, the State Museum on Black History and Culture. We also administer the African American Heritage Preservation Grant, which you'll learn more about today. And we provide advocacy and support from legislative support, technical assistance, and resources to African American initiatives throughout the state of Maryland. We are a state agency, but a national model for historic preservation, the only African American commission in its scale in the country. So with that being said, next slide. All right, agency highlights. When we talk about an agency, it's really about the people, right? The people that make it happen. And I really want to shout out our commission staff. We have none other than Chief of Staff Jan Lee. Whoop, whoop, Jan. We've got Alex, grant specialist for our grant program, Alec Anderson. We have curator, exhibition specialist. Her real title is Curator of Exhibitions and Collections, Martina Dodd. And LaRon Herbert, Administrative Manager and Special Assistant to the Commission. And some folks that joined us virtually, Sabria Hassan Esmail, Director of Programs. We have Malik Glee, Grant Specialist. Leslie Rose, that you'll see in the photo, our Exhibits Manager. We have about a 10-person team, but we are hiring an Education Coordinator. So we are an 11-person agency, and we're growing. So that's truly exciting. And listen, I can't forget about the money man himself. CFO John Perchio right over here. And we also have a foundation as a fiscal sponsor to our agency, the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum Foundation. Soon to be president of the foundation, Ms. Donna Cypress. If anybody wants to make a donation, just talk to this lady. All right. Okay, so moving on. So some highlights. So let me start with the highlights. This summer, our agency is launching a 15-person community and youth delegation from the city of Annapolis to Senegal, most notably the Gorée Island. This is tied to our strategic priority around our African diasporic partnerships and collaboration, and our documentary work, Sacred Spaces, check that out on YouTube, earned 2 2026 Capital Emmy nominations that raises the stature and visibility of our museum. I'm excited to share more about our agency priorities throughout our, Hello? All right. Throughout this presentation. So next slide. So everything we do now runs through the 7 priorities of our 2025-2030 strategic plan, from financial sustainability to leadership excellence. The strategic plan was developed and anchored. When I say leadership excellence, y'all know what I mean by that? I'm talking about leadership coaching, investment in providing conference attendance, travel, discovery, creativity, pouring into our agency team so they're thriving as professionals. And so that's something that we're really, really excited about to really beef up in the next chapter of our strategic plan. So with that being said, the strategic plan was developed and anchored around the museum, and a critical anchor as our commission builds our plans for operational growth and development, particularly in areas that expands our grant program, advocacy and support for Maryland communities. So I'm not going to read all 7, but let me show you the proof behind them throughout this presentation. All right, so financial growth. Shout out to Collectively. We're going to talk, because that was lots of great things, lots of great synergy, okay? All right, so beyond exceeding our fundraising goal this year, we secured a $100,000 National Trust grant, and that grant actually attracted a $10,000 additional sponsorship for the Artist in Residency program this year. So now the program is at 100, the Artist in Residency program is at 110,000, so that's great. We are also near completion by Q4 of our 5-year financial plan. Shout out to you, John, shout out to our finance committee. The CFO and I had a great meeting with the finance committee, the commission's finance committee, sharing our staffing, operational priorities, and fundraising opportunities. I'm looking forward to further strengthening our fundraising planning and growth opportunities at our next commission retreats this fall. So this is going to be really fantastic. And all of this is really, listen, we have, again, we're a multi-tiered agency. We're really trying to raise our capacity so that we are properly resourced in operating the state's museum. We are properly resourced in operating our growing grants portfolio, and we're properly resourced in providing technical assistance and training and resources to Black heritage sites and projects throughout the state. Ain't y'all pumped up? Yeah. Yes, we're doing it. All right. Okay, so next slide. So education. We completed our 4th annual Leadership After School program and won renewed funding for next year from Anne Arundel County Executive Executive Office. And we'll be relaunching our after school program. Same kids that we're bringing to the Senegal trip. This program is in partnership with the Public Housing Authority of Annapolis. We're so excited. I will say our students completed passports, got the passports, visited the Smithsonian African Art Museum, and is currently receiving training through cultural immersion ahead of the Senegal trip. I gotta say this, so we are bringing our young people, but we did receive funding to bring members of their families as well. So a mom, an auntie's going on the trip, so it's good. And Anne Arundel County public school teacher. So we're just super excited. And commissioners, don't fret, because I feel the energy. They're like, why can I go? When am I going? You know, we are partnering with the governor's office, and we're in communications to potentially do this either annually or biannually. So, hello, the sky's the limit. All right. So with that being said, this is history reaching the next generation, and we're crossing the ocean to do so. We're really excited. Next slide. Storytelling. So, which is a part of our amplifying greater storytelling, which is one of our strategic priorities. Our exhibition, She Speaks, Black Women Artists and the Power of Historical Memory. Not only did we draw thousands of people to see this exhibition since our launch during Black History Month, but we also drew curators from the Walters Art Museum and the Smithsonian's Nemox Museum into our gallery. They came to us to have conversations with our curatorial team around collaboration, and just to learn more about the development of this incredible exhibition. Y'all know it's America 250, right? Yes. Not too many places are amplifying Black women voices during that. Hello, Donna. Hello. During this this commemoration. And so what's so fantastic about this exhibition through the Black woman genius of our curatorial staff, Martina Dodd and Leslie Rose, is that they are centering Black women experiences, ideas, and voices around the shaping of democracy in this country, and centering Black women's art and their vision for freedom and liberation in this country during this commemoration. So it's an incredible exhibition of rare archives, artifacts, centering Black women's history in this state, but also it's an artistic exhibition as well, centering 17 Black women artists. It's fantastic. So y'all need to go. We close in, when do we close, Martina? January, so you got some time. All right. So in 2027, we'll also host another exhibition launching Black History Month, Dark Testament, which is the first East Coast debut in a Black-founded institution. This is a celebrating Black authors throughout history. It's also the 50th anniversary of Roots, the book and television series. So this will be a interpretive exhibit around that commemoration. And we've secured a $1 million capital bond bill to reimagine our permanent exhibition, which is truly exciting, so stay tuned for that. And I have to say, national institutions are paying attention to what's happening in Annapolis at the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. Next slide. Our collections, our federally funded collections and research. Our federally funded African Ancestral Human Remains Project, which includes 5 historians across 5 Maryland counties, will culminate in the respectful reburial of 16 ancestors that were found throughout Maryland through land erosion, through construction. These human remains, some of them were grouped together as families, date back to the 1700s. And so these 5 historians are researching. We actually had their final report this morning, and it was incredible. Researching who these folks were, who these human beings were, what life was like during the time in which they lived, and to rebury them in a proper burial ground with their descendant communities. It's an incredible project for our state. We're also finalizing the Senator Freeman Welcome Legislative Office collection. Her office was in Baltimore City. It wasn't touched since 1989. Last year we went in and saved her legislative files from her legislative work, her civil rights work, and right now it's at the Maryland State Archives, and we're working to accession it to the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum's collection. We're also welcoming a summer interns this summer in our curatorial and marketing department. Next slide. The African American Heritage Preservation Grant. Wow, our statewide grants program is the heart of our public mission. It has launched we have launched our FY27 cycle. Our deadline is July 1st, okay? All right, so if you know of any African American heritage sites, be it African American cemeteries, churches, museums, community centers, please apply. We actually have a grants workshop on June 4th at the museum. So if you're interested in learning more, please attend. We're also standing up a new $250,000 non-capital grant program for organizations to support their capacity and preservation initiatives. You'll hear more about all of this from Alex Anderson during the AHPP committee report. Next slide. Visibility, increased visibility. These numbers speak for themselves. Our digital reach hit 640,000, 172% over our annual goal. 82 media mentions, 2 Capital Emmy nominations. More people encountered this institution this year than at any point in its history. We are also starting a website merge for the commission and museum this fall to really amplify the multi-tiered branding of the agency. Next slide. Priorities 6 and 7, infrastructure and leadership. Our home and our people. We completed a full HVAC replacement. HVAC, that's expensive, okay? But we received funding, we completed the replacement. Special shout out to LaRon Herbert and John, our CFO, for leading that. With capital improvements, advancing this summer, we are going to be upgrading the lighting in our historic wing of the museum, as well as other public areas throughout the facility. We also completed our COO transition, chief of staff transition, and adopted a formal succession plan for myself. And we are launching more intentional leadership opportunities and coaching for staff, building an institution that's strong by design and positive in intention, and not putting the bottom line over our people, right? So we're really excited about that. Next slide. So as we close the fiscal year in 2026, we're executing with precision across all 7 priorities. We'll be, I want to say fully staffed, but we'll be more staffed by July, and already building towards financial empowerment and sustainability for the next 5 years and beyond. In the next chapter, we're really working on applying for grants and really building a stronger fundraising base by expanding our development team, working more intentionally with the Banneker-Douglass Museum Foundation, and so much more. Next slide. So I want to thank all of you for watching this, for supporting our institution, for your attendance here today, the public. Thank you all for the commission, for all that you do, our staff. If you want to support our museum, because a lot of people think, oh, y'all a state agency, you got money just rolling in. That's not true. We're very grateful. We have to lobby and fight for our annual budget every year to support our staffing and keeping our facility open. But everything that we do, for the most part, our research, our exhibitions, our youth programming, it's through grants and donations. So if you want to support, you can go to our website. Please stay abreast, subscribe to our newsletter, and thank you, and follow us on social media. And thank you for your time today.
Could you bring both
Yes,
those
bring the
microphones? Thank you so much, our charismatic, lovely, brilliant Executive Director. We have one question from the floor for you before we move on to the next report.
The ancestral remains report, is that going to be shared with us?
It's a part of the PR report, or Ada,
Yeah.
Dr. Lewis typically submits it to be a part of your report. So Ada, are you prepared to give the report?
No, that's Dr. Lewis.
I mean, you said the research.
Oh, yes. Oh, of course. Yeah. I thought you were talking about today's report. Yes, so today, and maybe that's why I'm like super energized. Hello? Maybe that's why I'm super energized this morning. Today they had their final presentation from the historians, and it just knocked everyone out of their seats. And so the final report will be given in June, and that will be shared with the Ancestral Remains Committee. I guess my question to you, sir, is, are you looking for the commission to review the draft before it's made public?
I'd like to see it.
You'd like to see it, okay.
What was shared.
Yes, so being that the Ancestral Remains falls within the PR committee that you're chair of, I'm sure Dr. Lewis can share the draft before it's published. So yeah, I think that's more than appropriate. I hope I made, yeah.
What was this presentation at?
It was virtual. Yeah, it was virtual today. Mm-hmm. He did record it, and we can definitely share it with the commission, for sure. Yeah, it was awesome.
All right, thank you so much. We now will hear the Finance Committee report presented on this date by Commissioner Mark Glaze.
Hello. I'm glad Executive Director Johnson explained where the high energy came from, because it's hard to follow that with a financial report. The Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture Financials. The FY26 appropriation is $1,744,394. The appropriation balance as of May 29th, 2026 is $1,632,750. $273. And so what we have seen is that due to an increase in utility expenses, it looks like there may be a slight overrun of the appropriation. Right now, we're at 93.57% of the FY26 appropriation. In terms of the capital budget, the FY24 capital grant through DGS was $3 million for facility. Hold the light. The light. Okay. It was $3 million for facility roof repairs, new energy efficient lighting, elevator. Thank you. Elevator maintenance and exterior building envelope repairs. Remaining balance is $2,758,932. There are two major encumbrances, as Executive Director Johnson mentioned, HVAC. There's an encumbrance of $67,227. And for removal and replacement of the non-operating HVAC system, $299,840. That's for. Maybe these lights don't like it today.
Lights on, I think it's on.
No, the light's not on.
It's going on.
Okay, I got a light on here. In terms of special funds, the FY26 balance is $21,613, and as of this, $2,131 is earmarked for the Verda Welcome Archival project that Executive Director Johnson referenced. In February 2026, a regular fiscal compliance audit was initiated as the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture is a standalone entity. As part of our commitment to accountability and transparency, we're actively cooperating with the Department of Legislative Services, the Office of Legislative Audits, which is conducting a comprehensive audit of our agency covering the past 3 years. Currently, we're meeting with the legislative audit team, reviewing their findings, and expect to have an exit meeting in June. That concludes.
You can use this one.
Okay. That concludes the Financial Committee report.
Hello. This one, I think we
this on?
should just stick with the podium mic.
Oh, this is the podium.
Yeah.
No, I think this was the podium.
No, that's a podium. This one.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that report. We will just pace ourselves and take our time through these remaining reports. And I am pleased now to give the floor to Commissioner Dina Daly, who will read the report of the Government Affairs Committee.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right. So this is our new committee that was established in October 2025. And we aim to expand the capacity of the agency's priorities through public policy and the reach of the Banneker-Douglass Museum, strategic plan for fostering collaborative relationships across global, national, state, municipal, and community-based entities. During the first quarter of 2026, 2006, we made significant progress towards finalizing some of those inaugural goals, which were to inform policymakers, shape legislation, and empower local advocates, double the geographic impact of an imprint of the book drive, the statewide book drive, and to launch the alumni corps. As stated earlier, okay, I'll try to keep it short and sweet. As stated earlier, we did finish we updated our committee handbook. We were very much involved in the legislative process this year, and our chairperson, Commissioner Melanie, participated in multiple activities and events to push our legislative. All right, so I'll just highlight a couple events that he participated in. He attended and hosted 2 official visits by the Maryland Department of Commerce Deputy Secretary, Division of Business, Attraction and Special Project, and the Maryland
Okay, we're going to take a pause for some technical troubleshooting.
With the readout of our reports. This does put our virtual community at a slight disadvantage, but in the interest of time, we're going to proceed with the meeting. So if you could please project your best for the people in the room while we continue.
Just went on. All right, so Chairperson Bonnie hosted 2 official visits for Maryland Department of Commerce Deputy Secretary, Division of Business Attraction Special Projects Stephen Rice, and Maryland 250 Commission Director Michelle W. Johnson. He also, Chairperson Moni joined the Maryland Speaker Pam Melnick, Equal Justice Initiative Community Members Project staff, the President of the Maryland Indian Memorial Project, and Kent County State's Attorney,
Mayor of Chestertown, Nancy, and unveiling the latest historical marker honoring James Taylor in Chestertown, Maryland, here at the extrajudicial murder site. He participated in many other community events honoring the historic events going on throughout the state, celebrating 250, particularly he joined the festivities in Dublin, celebrating Maryland Public Council 250th anniversary festivities. We also, as indicated earlier, we've increased our statewide book drive tremendously from 3 to 12 counties, and we continue to add additional ones that are pending in the coming years. So we're excited, and we thank the commissioners who sit on this committee and all the assistance they've done in order to expand the book drive throughout the state. We have lots that's still pending, and so we'll be engaging with Chairperson Moni, will be engaging with our local director here to make sure that we continue the work of the committee and expand throughout the eastern shore and other counties to make sure we get the book drive expanded. We have questions that we want the commission to think through as we sit into the next phase of our development to really focus on what kind of things that we believe the commission and the committee wants to amplify for the coming years. And so as we move to our next section, we will welcome those further discussion with members of the commission. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Daly. We'll move on to the BDTM committee report from Commissioner Ada Pinkston.
Okay, all right, good afternoon, everyone. I'll make this really short. I'll try to make this short as possible because there's literally only 2 things that the BDTM program committee is responsible for in addition to uplifting the work that the museum is already doing. The first thing is the Harriet Tubman Lifetime Achievement Award. If you are on the commission, you should receive a Google form. We're going to do a 2-phase process for next year. So the first phase will just be the name and the county of the person, and then the next phase will be more information. So we're going to send you an email about that shortly. And the second thing is a symposium. Actually, 3 things. The second thing is a symposium. You should receive, there's an open call for proposals. The symposium is going to take place October 1st through October 3rd at Bowie State University. It's part of the Build, Serve, Unite entity started by Dr. Gina Lewis at Bowie State University, and it's a collaboration between Build, Serve, Unite, Bowie State University, and the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture, and the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. So the call for submissions is going to be distributed to the commissioners, but it's also distributed statewide. And the theme is called Aesthetic Inheritance, Art, Archive, and African American Life. And again, it's going to be held October 1st through the 3rd. And so the proposals, I'll just do a brief overview. So basically, we're welcoming proposals for individual presentations, workshops, and panels. Selected presentations will help shape a 2-day symposium convening scholars, artists, curators, cultural workers, and researchers in dialogue on African American art and its relationship to historical documentation, its function as research methodology, and within critical archive archival practices. Abstracts of no more than 300 words are due by July 10. They're due by July 10, and submissions should include an abstract for a proposed presentation, panel, or workshop, a short bio, and current affiliation. And again, check your emails for that link to the form to apply and also to help spread the word. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the U.S. colored troops were honored during the Memorial Day celebration that just happened during Memorial Day at Loudon Park Cemetery. And we had some amazing speakers, including Dr. Gill and Dr. Kaliaset Amen. And there was coverage about it on WMAR. And so there's this annual ceremony that honors U.S. colored troops at Loudon Park Cemetery. And if you're interested in volunteering, you can reach out to me if you're interested in volunteering to help support that work. And also there's a list of ways you can support the museum commissioners, and that's also in the email. And that's it. All right.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Pinkston. Any question for Commissioner Pinkston about the BDTM committee? And my apologies, I also meant to open the floor very briefly for questions for the Government Affairs Committee. All right, well, hearing none, we will proceed to the report of the Public Relations and Historical Committee brought to us by Commissioner Brian Morrison.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
The Public Relations and Historical Committee report will cover our three main buckets. One is pendulum, the voice of the commission, our connection to our public statements, our public report, our public support statements, and finally our work in social media and promotion of the commission through our social media efforts. So the spring edition of the pendulum that all of you should have received a physical copy of when you came in has been printed and is available. Print version was presented in May. Commissioner Gill was responsible for gaining the support from several donors for the printing of the spring edition of the pendulum. And we are currently in production of our summer edition, which will be published on July 20th. Commissioners and anyone who wants to supply any information for the pendulum, July 1st is our due date. So all of your committee updates, please make sure we get them by July 1st. Yes, by July 1st. Commissioner Gill, do you want to say anything on the pendulum? Add anything?
Should I give my impact statement now, Chairman?
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I have been asked to give an impact report on the pendulum. I'd like you to pull out your pendulum so you can have it on your lap and to touch it. As such, I want to focus on the advantages of reading the printed word, distribution, and how some things remain the same. The advantages of reading hard copies of the pendulum is one comprehends what they have read. It has fewer distractions, and because it is a pretty publication. The pendulum is easy on the eyes compared to screen time. According to the American Optometric Association, screen time may cause eye strain, blurred vision, neck and shoulder pain, and dried eyes because looking at the screen causes you not to blink. You blink less. The more you blink, the more your eyes water. The less you blink, the drier your eyes become. The distribution of the 2026 winter and spring editions have been 4 copies to the African American Department of the Enoch Pratt Free Library and its 21 branches, 2 for the Earl S. Richardson Library at Morgan State University, and the libraries in Kent, Talbot, and Dorchester counties on the Eastern Shore. The Pendulum newsletter has been placed in beauty salons, barbershops, doctor and dentist offices, the reading rooms of 2 places of worship, a recreation center given to 2 high school teachers, and there have been numerous mailings. The more things that change, the more they remain the same, sort of. Newspapers are written for an 8th grade reading level. That was the case when I was in high school, college, graduate school, and when teaching journalism courses at Morgan State University, it was 8th and 9th grade. And 25 years later, today it is 8th to the 10th grade reading level. Something else that has remained the same with newspapers, newsletters, is the target audience, specialized sections, and geographic precision. The importance of the pendulum rests on the impact it has on the target audience, the people who attend these public meetings, and who I have referred to previously as boots on the ground. You were here before us commissioners, you will be here after us commissioners. The target audience are also the parents of students in the after-school program. Parents want to know what young people are doing. The after-school program, the students produce artwork, they have comments, parents want to see the artwork, parents want to hear the comments. I made a presentation to the after-school program, and I told them that when they go to synagogue, they should take pictures. And when they come back, I hope they're asked to write about their experiences. When people write about their experiences, they learn. And many of their comments, I hope, will be in the pendulum. The distribution of the newsletter, you've heard the distributors earlier. And the target audience helps determine content. For example, there's an article on Ann Joyce. This was the person who came to a public meeting. She was a descendant of the Georgetown 272. The 272 enslaved persons were sold by the Jesuits, the planters in Louisiana, to save what is now Georgetown University. All of you have stories. All of you have stories. Also, specialized sections are for newspapers. We have specialized pages, and those pages are devoted to committee reports, preservation, articles on Maryland history, the after-school program, community events, and a new section which Chair Morris and I were talking about, public meetings. You need to know what happens at the public meetings that you are not able to attend. There are few people here. There are thousands of people who wish they were here. They need to know what happens at our public meetings. Also, geographic precision. Geographic precision returns to specific geographic areas. For example, in all of the committee reports and articles, there are mentions of counties in Maryland. That's beneficial to the people from those counties as well as the commissioners that represent those counties. As for tomorrow, I believe the pendulum will have a greater impact as it develops consistency, a mailing list to include the general public, more distributors, and is included in the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum archives and Digital Maryland, which is a statewide digitation program of the Maryland State Library Resource Center and the Enid Pratt Free Library. Thank you.
Hello? Testing. Great.
as we continue. So that's our report on the pendulum. Our next section that the Public Relations and Historical Research Committee deals with, our next bucket, is our public support statements. Over the course of this year, we've provided a number of public support statements for a variety of initiatives that members of the community have come and asked us to support that are aligned with the mission of our commission. One of those letters of support was requested by the sister states of Maryland. Who Commissioner Bailey is a member of that organization, and asked for support for the Dr. Joseph E. Harris Maryland Routes of Enslaved Peoples Heritage Trail. So I want to give an update on where we are with that. We were asked to write a letter of support for their proposals for them to be the trail to be included as a part of the UNESCO's network of places of history and memory linked to the enslavement and the slave trade. So that process is moving, it has received provisional approval to be included in that trail, to be included in that network. Excuse me. It's a global initiative established through the Routes of Enslaved Peoples program to recognize and strengthen sites of memory connected to slavery and the slave trade. Basically there are a number of sites in the Chesapeake Bay and around Maryland where captured Africans were brought into the Chesapeake region, and the Joseph E. Harris Trail identifies those places, and there's a program establishing markers and signage to acknowledge those. It's also, the trail has also received a fiscal year 2027 appropriation of $250,000 from the Maryland General Assembly to support implementation, and that is for the placement of those markers. I'm working to coordinate the approval for the location in Baltimore's port of entry as part of the trail's development. There are 7 other sites that are anticipated to be put into place on August 23rd, 2025, in observance of the International Day of the Remembrance of the Slave Trade and its abolition. So that process, that is just one example of the work that we do to support other organizations to promote and to uplift our history and culture. We have our ongoing program with the Maryland Department of Transportation and the Maryland Historical Trust to revise the road markers that you see on the road that are connected to African American history and culture. Just to report on those that we identified from last year, the House of Reformation, which Amen has spoken about earlier, that marker has been installed. We did not review that marker, but we did have input on its presentation. Belvoir area, a marker will be placed on June 24th. That is the date for its unveiling, and that will take place at the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. You all are welcome to come and be there for that event. Isaac Mason marker out over on the Eastern Shore is scheduled to go up on August 27th. Nace Hopkins marker, and all of these markers that I'm talking about were approved and processed last year for last year's round. I'll talk about this year's in a moment. The Nace Hopkins marker is scheduled to be placed around or unveiled on October 15th, and the Benjamin Banneker on November 7th of later this year. So we're continuing to work on the next phase of the markers. We had included Freetown in Anne Arundel County as part of our initial round of markers for this year, 4 of them. But we removed that because once we did the research and went deeper into it, there are other markers of greater need to be addressed before dealing with that. And even if we're going to deal with that, that one's relatively new, and the language isn't really off on that. And that's one of the reasons that we're undergoing this project, is because many of the markers that have been placed, the language is outdated, and some of it in modern terms can be seen as insensitive, as well as some historical inaccuracies. So that's what we're working on there. You've heard about the Ancestral Remains Project already. The final report is in process, and that'll be shared with the community as it's coming up. What's the date for that again, Director Johnson?
It's in June.
It's sometime later this month.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and so that concludes the second bucket. The final bucket is on our social media presence, and Commissioner Wood is in charge of the work on our social media bucket. Commissioner Wood, do you have some insights to share?
Commissioner Moniz, if you look on the LinkedIn page or the Facebook page for the commission, Commissioner Moniz video presentation urging people to participate in the statewide book drive is available, and we'll be circulating that and other messages until the conclusion of the book drive, which will be June 21st, Juneteenth weekend. So.
With that, that's the end of our third bucket, and again, action items completed. The spring edition of the Pendulum has been produced and published, and items in progress. We're still seeking funding for the continued printing of the Pendulum. I'm still working on the MDOT markers. The summer issue of the Pendulum is in production, and we are always recruiting more members to the committee. So, and that's open to the public as well. If members of the public would like to join the Public Relations and Historical Research Committee, we welcome you. We have a couple of people from the public who are not members of the commission who are working on the Maryland Department of Transportation projects and other projects. So if you hear something that interests you, feel free to reach out and join us. There is in the Pendulum both the hard copy as well as the digital copies, which you can find links to on the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman website as well as our own website. You can click on the link, scan the code, and reach out and connect with us. And that concludes the Public Relations and Historical Research Committee report.
Thank you, Commissioner Morrison. Any quick question for the Commissioner about this committee report? All right, we'll move on to our final presentation of the committee report pertaining to the African American Heritage Preservation Grant. Alexandria Anderson will read that report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. And I'm happy to share updates from the African American Heritage Preservation Program Committee on behalf of our committee chair, Commissioner Patterson. As Director Johnson mentioned in her director's report, we did launch our FY27 grant round, and that will conclude on July 1st, so please get in your applications. I'm also pleased to report that we made great progress in our FY26 grant round and our awardees. We've met with all of our awardees aside from 3, and we have scheduled site visits for those so we can get them started on their procurement process so they can hire services and get those capital improvement projects started. I'd also like to announce that we have We have established the evaluation meetings for the rank and review and selection of awardees this fall in November, with input from the committee members. Thank you, commissioners, for responding to that survey. And so we will get that done, but we're also recruiting community reviewers. We've extended the deadline for our call for reviewers. So thank you all for getting the word out to all those who might be interested in
Turn that speaker.
For all those who have shared this application with anybody who might be interested in participating in the selection for our awardees for FY26 or FY27 cycle. We're currently in development of some additional scoring guidance that will assist reviewers in their ranking review, and will correspond with the available or publicly available rubric in the grant guidelines, so that reviewers will have an easier time making that selection and getting relevant information. We've also updated our application so that folks can better express their intent on their projects and the progress they've made on previous projects if they're a return grantee or awardee looking for additional funding. We've been really successful in our latest outreach events. We've had 4 workshops, both online and in person, and we've had a combined attendance of at least 136 people who are interested in the program, have interesting projects, and we do have our last official outreach workshop happening at the museum, at the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum this week on Thursday, I believe at 10:30 a.m. So this is an opportunity for potential applicants to ask specific questions about the application, about relating to their project. We're happy to also dig deeper into the heavily weighted sections of the application. Share best practices and tips on how to strengthen your application. We were also able to provide at least 35 previous applicants who were not awarded with written feedback or in-person feedback to strengthen your application if they do choose to apply again. And we have one more announcement, and that is a new workshop that is taking place next Monday, hosted by the Bethel Empowerment and Wellness Center, a previous awardee. And this workshop will be targeting religious sites. So any sites with historic significance surrounding the African American experience in Maryland. If you're interested specifically on how capital improvement projects that are typically awarded through this program are presented and the kind of public education and impact that we're looking to see in terms of making sure that you are either expanding access to this history in some way or expanding access beyond typical congregations. And there's also specific eligibility criteria that apply to those sites, meaning that we cannot fund activities that improve the actual sanctuary, but we can fund activities related to the exterior, fellowship halls, cemeteries associated with those churches, those historic churches. So if you'd like to hear more or like to find out if your application could potentially be eligible, this is happening at the Bethel Empowerment and Wellness Center at 2 p.m. on Monday, June 8th in Baltimore. And we just put together a flyer this morning, and hopefully we can find ways to distribute that later this week. So please find me if you're either interested in becoming a reviewer or interested in our last 2 outreach events. But we also can meet individually with potential applicants who like to hear more, like to talk more about details about the application they're preparing. We can do our best to provide guidance on how to provide a competitive application. So, thank you.
Quick question for you.
Sure.
Of those 35 past recipients who received feedback, did they request the feedback, or was that feedback sent automatically?
They requested that feedback. We sent those letters letting them know that they unfortunately were not selected in this grant round, but we provided opportunities to either schedule an individual session or just receive written feedback, specific feedback about their application, and so we answered those requests. And for those who were not eligible, but provided an application, we told them early on in the grant round that, you know, for the following reasons, you were not eligible, so your application wasn't reviewed by reviewers, but these are the reasons why, and this is how you can become eligible in the future. So, yeah. And if you did not request feedback, we're still happy to provide that feedback. Still available for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. Informative as always. Before we move on to our last business item, I just wanted to share a couple of remarks and really reflecting on how far we've come in this past almost 12 months now as we are rounding out our fiscal year. So when I look back on this year, what stands out to me is not just the amount of work we've done, and you've heard the reports today, and these are just mostly reports of the quarter, but there is so much work that has happened over the course of this year. So it's not just about the amount of the work, but the way we've done it. This commission is made up of people who care very deeply about this mission. They show up, they volunteer their time, and consistently step forward when something needs to get done. All these people here. That spirit has been evident throughout the year, and I'm just so grateful to count you all as a colleague. I really want to celebrate another successful year of the African American Heritage Preservation Grant Program. Thank you, Alex. As we started the year and there were administration transitions, we were just very much on our guard to protect this critical resource. This is one of the Commission's signature investments in communities across Maryland, helping preserve sites and institutions that might otherwise be lost. This year, we were able not only to continue that work, but we also began internal evaluation of the program, its processes, the tools that we use to provide technical assistance so we can better understand the impact and strengthen it for the future. I think that's a sign of a mature organization, one that's always looking for ways to improve. I want to give a special thank you to Committee Chair Robert Patterson, for his leadership and stewardship of this important work. I also want to recognize the tremendous progress we've made in our partnership with the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. This has truly been a banner year for collaboration between the BDTM committee and museum staff. We've moved beyond simply coordinating activities toward what I might say is a much deeper alignment around shared goals and priorities, and much of that progress is due to the leadership of Chair Ada Pinkston, who has really been intentional about building productive working relationships with staff and ensuring that committee efforts really support the museum's strategic vision. So Commissioner Pinkston, really thank you for helping to model what good partnership looks like. This year also brought, as you heard, significant legislative and budgetary victories. We have protected this Heritage Preservation Grant Program while also securing meaningful operational investments for the museum and its future renovation, which we're all very excited about. Those investments will help position this institution as a truly world-class destination. You heard our executive director talk about our ambition, and we have a strong, high-performing and ambitious team fulfilling those goals. So I want to acknowledge her, Executive Director Chanel Johnson. You've been an exceptional advocate for the agency throughout the legislative session. And if you'll indulge me again, I'm particularly pleased to see the success of the Government Affairs Committee. One of the goals I had as chair was to establish a dedicated committee focused on advocacy and government relations, because I believe the commission needed a more intentional presence in those conversations, and this year proved just how valuable that vision was. The committee became a true partner, you heard in the report today, in advancing our priorities and supporting our goals and the work of staff. And for that, I especially want to thank Chairperson and Vice Chair of this commission, Jalen Money, for his leadership, his energy, his willingness to build something brand new with no script. And for the leadership of those at the helm of our book drive subcommittee, especially Kennedy Wilson, I just have to give a special shout once again. I want to recognize our finance committee and its chair, Rochelle Adams. Rochelle joined the commission just this year and immediately stepped up to step into one of our most important leadership roles, and that is not a small thing. Working with our CFO, John Piercio, she has helped ensure that we maintain responsible stewards of public resources. So the state continues to invest in this commission since 1969, y'all, because we have built a reputation for being trustworthy, accountable, and effective. And that reputation belongs to all of you. Another area where I think we've made tremendous progress is in governance. This year, we streamlined processes, developed new procedures and policies, clarified expectations, and put some new structures in place that simply didn't exist before. It's not always the most visible work, which you all have heard about today, but it's some of the most important work, that behind the scenes work. It's often said that while we are a Maryland state agency, we should aspire to be a national model for this kind of work. That means being excellent, not only in our programs, but in how we govern ourselves, how we conduct our operations, and how we show up in service to the public. And we still have work to do, but I believe we've laid some very important foundations this year. I want to recognize also the extraordinary work of the Public Relations and Historical Research Committee. This has been one of the busiest committees on the commission, to be sure. Its members have, as you heard, generated numerous letters of support, conducted research that will leave a visible mark on Maryland's historical landscape through markers and commemorative efforts, advanced the important work of the Ancestral Human Remains Project, of which Gina Lewis is at the helm, and continue to strengthen the pendulum as a serious, formidable educational resource. The pendulum really has become something much more than a newsletter. It's a crucial vehicle for our public scholarship and public education, and that work depends on so many people. So thank you to this committee, to COO Jan Lee, and especially Commissioner Brian Morrison, our editor-in-chief, and Commissioner Wally Gill, the lead author and tireless advocate for this publication. They have built something truly that elevates the work of this commission. And finally, to every commissioner who took the initiative to host a public meeting in their region, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are helping us realize the crucial goal of broadening awareness of this commission and its work across the state. So kudos to Commissioner Bridget John Smith from Washington County. I think she's with us online. To Walter Gill of Baltimore City, Eugene Bailey of Montgomery County, Jalen Money of Talbot County, and Rochelle Adams of Anne Arundel County. So grateful for your service. As I reflect on this year, I keep coming back to the idea of stewardship. Each of us inherited this commission from those who came before us. Our responsibility is not simply to maintain it, it is to strengthen it, to leave it more effective, more resilient, and more impactful than we found it. And I believe collectively we have done that this year. So I just want to thank all of you. We got more work to do, but we've done much. I'm so grateful. All right, I'm going to turn the floor over to Mr. Herbert to usher in our next order of business.
Thank you so much, Chairman. Come on, let's clap again for our lovely chair who has done a tremendous job. Beautiful, beautiful. So at this point of new business, we're going to go into the voting of the chair and vice chair position. So the election, for all to know, including our commissioners, will be held in the form of an anonymous ballot. So each commissioner will be given some white card sheets so that you can cast your ballot. We are now holding the election of the chair of the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture for the fiscal year of July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. I'm glad I'm here to report that we do have a quorum so we can do this election. Are there any nominations for the office of chair? And the floor is open to the commissioners.
I nominate
Yes.
myself.
Your nominations. Excellent. Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Pinkston.
I was going to nominate Chair Asada.
Thank you. All right. Chair Kalia Sedaman, do you accept the nomination of the office of chair?
I do accept.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any further nominations for the office of chair? Okay. Hearing no further nominations for the office of chair, the nominations are closed and we will proceed with the election. So as I go around to the commissioners, there must be a ballot from every commissioner, not only here, but our Chief Operating Officer, Ms. Jan Lee, is doing one digitally through a Google survey. And when you cast your ballot, you will either say yes, no, or abstain. Okay? All right, now come around. We'll give you an opportunity to fill out the ballot. Yes, it's for the chair position. And then I'll come back and place it in the ballot box.
Should I put my first name first?
Whatever works best for you, sir. Sure, you're so welcome. Absolutely. Give me a moment, and I'll come back to collect those ballots while our Chief Operating Officer, Ms. Jan Lee, will get the votes from online. And then we'll go to the vice chair voting. And after we get all the ballots, we will then tally it. And with our current wonderful chair, she's going to allow us to have the public to speak while we're gathering those vote numbers and then come back with the votes of who are the chair and vice chair.
Can I just say something, Mr. Commissioner Bradford?
Yes.
I think that the people that are participating online have to wait until the vice chair nominates it as well, because the way that the ballot is set up, you have to put both names before hitting submit.
Okay, that is fine, ma'am. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Has everyone filled out their ballot?
So, point of information, I shared with the concern that was just listed, but my response was to list my vote for the chairman, and I intend to just submit again for the vice chair. Is that acceptable?
I believe that is fine. That is correct.
Fantastic, thank you. Right.
That is fine, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
You put down a vote.
Oh, my goodness, I want to do that. This is Thank you, sir. And now we will open the floor for holding the election of the Vice Chair of the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture for the fiscal year July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. Again, we do have a quorum, so we can move forward with our election. Are there any nominations for the office of Vice Chair? The floor is open. Yes.
I nominate David Maloney.
Okay. So our commissioners have to be present for the vote. That is correct.
Did we receive a communication from Commissioner Moni? Did you receive anything from him about Vice Chair candidacy?
No, ma'am. Not at all. Yes.
To accept the nomination.
Yes, Chairman.
Might we put forward a motion if there are not other nominees for this position to suspend the vice chair vote at this time?
That's an interesting question. I've been presented with that one. I guess we could for our next meeting.
He wasn't heard online.
So the question was presented, could the vice chair position, voting for that, be put on hold until the next public meeting?
Okay, thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Hill.
I received an email indicating that Vice Chair Moni would be a candidate. So would that be constitute a nomination?
Unfortunately, the person has to be present to accept the nomination. Yeah.
That's why she mentioned it, putting it on hold until August until he is president.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Are there any other commissioners who would like to run for the position of vice chair?
Can I make a motion that the position of vice chair be postponed and we just vote on it?
Yes, sir. We will do that.
I second the motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you so much. The ayes have it. We will move forward with that process in our August 3rd meeting. Thank you. So, Chairman, yes, sir.
Just to clarify for the record, there were no other nominees for the position. Just to clarify for the record.
Yes, sir.
Should we, the meeting be clarified now or that will be? Because it was mentioned in August, that wasn't part of the motion.
Let's redo the motion for the record. The Commissioner can state the original motion.
Yes, it can. Let me bring the mic to you. Bring the mic to you.
I'd like to make a motion that the vote for vice chair be postponed until the August meeting of 2026.
Yes, sir.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The ayes have it. We will move forward with that process then. Thank you.
I have a second motion. Technically, the 10 years conclude at June 30th. I would like to motion that we recognize the current vice chair, Jalen Money, to continue on in his capacity until that August meeting vote.
As acting.
As acting. Yes. The motion is seconded. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. All right, we are past our time quite a bit, but we always reserve time for acknowledgement of members of the public who are here while Mr. Herbert, our officiant, does the official tally that can be announced for the public record regarding our vote. I would like to ask if anyone is visiting us, not a member of staff, but we would love to acknowledge you and where you've come from, please. Are you raising your hand, madam? We would love to hear where you've come from and what brought you here today.
I am working with Dr. Bailey. I'm sure my voice carries.
We want everybody to hear you online.
Hello, my name is Alveda Addison. I'm working with Dr. Bailey on the Joseph E. Harris Trail. I am a doctoral student at Howard University in African Diaspora Studies with a minor in public history.
HU?
You know.
Good afternoon, everybody. Forgive me if I don't stand. My name is Daphne Michelle Titus. I'm also working with Commissioner Bailey on the Dr. Joseph E. Harris Trail. I'm a retired senior diplomat, and like almost all of us, I'm now a consultant, and I consult on lots of historic preservation activities in the DMV.
Thank you. My name is Robert Forloni, and I'm the Program Officer for Partnerships at Maryland Humanities. We've got a number of different programs, but a couple I wanted to highlight. Our Maryland HATSA Shine Grants have been reinstated with a lot of support from this organization. So they're opening this month in June. They'll be due in September, but they're $5,000 grants, non-matching operations that can be used for small organizations with budgets of less than $500,000 that are centering equity work. In addition to that, we have a brand new humanities conference that we're putting together for the first time. It will be at UMBC on July 9th, and we're focusing on centering community voices. So we'll be looking at oral histories, talking about the relationship of using different types of media, working with students and faculty, as well as cultural workers across the state. And in addition to that, we have a tracking exhibit right now called Revolutionary Maryland, and we worked in partnership with Maryland Historic Trust, Afro Charities, Tiny News Collective, to put together an exhibit that looks at censorship and what's happening with regards to the media from colonial times up to today. And that is currently in Cambridge, Maryland, as well as historic Sodderly. They'll be moving to multiple counties going forward as part of that process too. So if anyone's interested, I'd be more than happy to share information. But we're trying to promote stories, local stories and narratives that have not been told, and talking about censorship and what's happening with regards to pressures today in media. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Amy Millen. I'm the president of the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project. I also am a commissioner on the Maryland Lynching Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And I just want to extend my appreciation for partnerships and collaboration past, present, and future, fingers crossed, in this work that we're doing across the state. So thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Candace Giles, and I'm coming from Dorchester County on the Eastern Shore. I'm from Cambridge, and I'm here because I represent Malone's Church and Cemetery in historic property, and I'm excited today to be here just to share with you all that we have actually begun physically moving the church. The lifting was done on May 15th, the day before our annual May Day event, which is usually a really great event. So we were just very, very excited that it happened the day before that event. Also, just want to share that I'm just really happy that you all have the public meetings. I always learn a lot when I come. I was very happy to hear the presentation about collectively, and also just to happy to hear that the print version of the pendulum will be continuing. I think that's really important to have it something in hand. And also, we also are part of the oral history and archives project. And just so much that you've talked about today, we have been, are participating in or have been a recipient of. So just really grateful that you have the public meetings. Always happy to come.
Good afternoon. I'm Donna Cypress, Baltimore City, board member of the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Foundation and former commissioner, as well as former chapter commissioner of Baltimore City. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Yasmin Perkins with the Hosanna School Museum, the first African-American and Freedman School in Harford County. Would love to invite you all to our 10th annual Freedom Weekend happening June 12th through the 14th. We are having a Friday celebration at the Havre de Grace Colored School Museum, which is a Legacy and Empowerment Day with several workshops and activities. And then on Saturday, we have an Empowering Juneteenth Day festival with a family reunion of Cupid Paca, his family, as well as the Waters family, which many are buried at the site of the McComas Village. And we'll also have music and activities and historical workshops that day. We also will be on Sunday having a gospel celebration at the Rooted Bible Church, which will feature Danton Whitley and Mr. Aaron Harris. So I have flyers, and if anyone would like any additional information, thank you all for having this public meeting, and thank you for all the work that you do in support of our museum as well.
Really quickly. So I spoke with Iris, and she presented at the Juneteenth Consortium for Maryland 250 Commission. Nice. There are over 40 Juneteenth events going on in our city. Not in the country, not in the region, in the state. So I really charge, I know I've emailed some commissioners asking them to attend Juneteenth because our staff can be everywhere now. But please go to at least one Juneteenth event, take pictures, tag us, send it to Jan, post it on your social media, show presence, because this year it's really incredible. And my observation is that the reason why Juneteenth is on fire this year is in response to America 250. So let's show up for that. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, Chanel, is it okay if I... Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
I just wanted to co-sign the Juneteenth plug because that particular celebration actually is the family reunion for my family. The Waters family is my family, so, you know, just a little partiality there, and I decided to give that co-sign that, but that's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Last but not least, Haki Abi, officially, I work with the Maryland Black Caucus Foundation, so I love your parliamentarian skills there, and just me. But I wanted to thank you all. I'm also a consultant as well as board member for the Bailey Gross family with the Frederick Douglass, Anna Marie Douglass. So thank you all for that. And so, but I'll also mention a Juneteenth in Baltimore, which will be at Langston Hughes on the actual 19th from 2 to 6 p.m. So thank you all for everything you do. Thank you.
We do have a new intern. Introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Terri Freeman. I attend Towson University and I am currently the new intern for the Marketing and Communications Department. So,
Thank you so much, Commissioner Gill. To the public as well as to the commission, all of our votes are in, and we have 13 affirmative votes unanimously voting Ms. Kali Asset Amen to be the chair for this new fiscal year. Come on, let's put our hands together. Congratulations, Chairman. Are we ready to bring the meeting to a close? All right. May I have an MCAAHC commissioner make a motion to have our public open meeting come to a close at this time? Thank you so much, Commissioner Bailey. Is there a second? Thank you, Chair Amen. The motion and second has been properly moved and made. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you so much. Any opposed? The ayes have it. And the meeting will be closed in just a moment as we prepare to go into our special closed meeting. As I read the statement, the special closed meeting with the MCAAHC commissioners will only be closed under the provisions of General Provisions Article 3-305B, Section 9, to conduct collective bargaining negotiations or considering matters that relate to the negotiations. In other words, the MCAAHC commissioners are about to go into a retreat. Thank you all so much. The meeting is now closed at 1:33 p.m. Thank you.
No. Well,